Welcome, Cubs. Have a seat by the fire and get comfortable, because we're going to be here for a bit. Tonight, I'm going to tell you a tale. A tale about some of those chosen by Gaia to be her protectors, born of man, wolf, or other, but all bathed in Luna's light. Tasked by Gaia with defending her and gifted with slivers of Luna's rage, these chosen ones can take the forms of man, wolf, or things in between. Called werewolves by men, these warriors call themselves guard. But as usual, I'm getting far ahead of myself. Before we get into the story, we need to take care of a little sept business. And by we, I don't mean the royal we. I mean we, as in the wonderful people before you. We are Vorpal Tales. We play terrifying tales and awesome adventures every day of the week, sometimes even twice. We feature a little bit of everything, including They Came From Beyond the Grave, Mage of the Awakening, Alien, Ravenloft, and even those nasty blood-sucking leeches. Be sure to check out our website, vorpaltales.com, to see our complete schedule, recaps of the week's shows, links to our social media such as YouTube for past archives of shows, our new podcast, and Patreon, just in case you wanted to show your support monetarily, or go check out our new merch. Be sure to click follow on Twitch so you can get notified of new shows. And if you check out the YouTube archives, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you get notifications of new ones. All new and current. Oop, I was supposed to delete that and I forgot. Special thanks to Onyx Pass Publishing and White Wolf for gifting us the World of Darkness and all the support they offer. To Astral Tabletop for the awesome virtual space we use to play all our games. And to @N8MIDD from right here at Vorpal Tales for our custom Astral Tabletop character sheets that you all can use to play your own games on Astral Tabletop. And finally, for the first time I get to say this, happy Juneteenth, everybody. Now, with all that out of the way, allow me to introduce myself. I am the Touring, and I'll be your host, guide, and tale spinner for the evening as we tell a tale of awesome adventure in the world of Werewolf the Apocalypse 20th Anniversary Edition. Now, Cubs, why don't you tell us who you are and where the fine people watching can find you?
Yes, I am Dwayne, made of kimchi all over the interwebs. This evening I will be playing Linda Davis, the Philodox Child of Gaia.
Hello, my name is Zachary Naldra, he, him. I can be found on the Twitters on that bird app at Zach Rules, and I will be playing Breaker of Cages, Lupus Bonar.
Hi, my name is Ray Alexa, they, them pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at RAChastaway. You can also find me over on Comfort Studios on Thursdays. And I will be playing Sage Lavat, your Child of Gaia Thurge.
All right, thank you. So let's get into it. Long ago, before the beginning of time, there was only Gaia. Gaia, that being which we live upon and within, was perfect and yet also alone. From the darkness, Gaia summoned 3 siblings and gave each their own task. First of the 3 was the Wild, a creature of pure chaos. From it spilled the formless stuff of all creation. Next was the Weaver, the spirit of order, which took that formless stuff and gave it form and function, as well as a name. And finally the Worm, the spirit of decay and destruction, which took those things created by the Weaver and turned them to the nothing from which they came. With these triadic spirits, each working hand in hand in hand, matter was created, given form and purpose, and then destroyed in an endless cycle of balance. All was not perfect, however, as over time the Weaver became angry that their creations, the things that they had spent so much time and effort creating, were destroyed by the Worm. In a fit of madness, the Weaver imprisoned the Worm in her web, driving it insane and polluting its purpose. Now, instead of being a spirit of renewal through destruction, it is a beast of war, corrupter, and defilement. Over the millennia, this imbalance has grown larger and worse, to the point where we are now on the brink of the apocalypse. So, that is kind of the overarching background of the setting of Werewolf the Apocalypse. Gaia is the Earth. Gaia is everything that encompasses creation as we know it. And Gaia has kind of three spirits that are below her, and they used to be in balance. But a long time ago, something went wrong. So now the Garu, which is who you guys will be playing, are battling to bring that balance back. Because if you don't, the world will end. So, as we saw in the introductions, some of our players have already kind of started on character creation, but what we are going to do is we're going to go through that process so that you, the viewers, can see what goes into making a werewolf character. So, one of the first things that we are going to look at is the concept. So everybody, let's start at the top again and just kind of go off what you have for a concept for your character.
Yes, that's me. So I actually took a concept out of the Werewolf the Apocalypse 20th. One of the pre-mades, I really liked the concept, and that was the peace activist. Wherein they were at a peaceful rally, but something had gone wrong, and that is when their first change had occurred once violence ensued.
I like it. All right.
My concept is the character was a wolf that was in captivity, and when some drunk kids stumbled into the wolf habitat, at one point is when the character had their first change. Did not end well for the drunken teenagers.
Wonderful. All right.
My character concept was former. I've been arrested for a long time, and I put it as former foster kid.
Okay.
Sage didn't grow up knowing that they were Garu, and could always speak to spirits, but that was written off as mental illness by their guardians. And when they were about 12, 13, they were going to be taken to a mental health hospital and dragged there in the middle of the night against their will, and that's when they had their first change.
Wonderful. All right. And then the next thing that I usually pick is the breed. As I said in the intro, werewolves are born. So unlike a lot of pop culture movies and stuff like that, where you can get bit and turn into a werewolf, in Werewolf the Apocalypse, you are actually born as a werewolf. And there are 3 different ways that can happen. You can be born of a man or a human, and that is what is called a homid. You can be born as a wolf, so born of wolf, and that is called a lupus. Or you can be born of 2 Garu, and this I call Garu born. These, let's put it this way, they are sterile, so they cannot perpetuate the line. And one of the main tenets of the Garu is that Garu shall not mate with Garu. So they are looked down upon for multiple reasons, but that is one of them. They also are all born with some form of a deformity, either physical or some sort of mental illness. So they can and usually are the lowest on the totem pole, and I don't believe that we have anybody that is playing one of them. But why don't you tell me what breed your character is, how they were born? I think we kind of already covered that with a lot of these, but just so everybody is clear, go ahead and let everybody know.
Yes, so my character is indeed a Hamid, born of man, and did not know that they had this inside of them, this rage, especially being a peace activist.
Lupus, also known as Wolfborn, also known as Four Legs, also known as Awu Boy.
Fluffers.
No, that's the Garu born. That's the Fluffsters.
Fluffsters, yes.
I am a Hamid as well. Zach, does that mean the Hamids are just like basic?
Yes, they
What's
would
our
be
basics? Yes.
Yeah, we're basic.
I was gonna say basic bitch, but
Well, I mean, that is the official term for a female wolf. So, all right, and then the next thing Zach had mentioned this is the auspice. So, in the intro, I mentioned that every werewolf is born with a sliver of Luna's rage within them, and that rage ramps up depending upon how much of the moon was visible when you were born. So if you were born under the new moon, where there is no moon in the sky, you are a Ragabash. And Ragabash are the questioners and tricksters. They tend to be stealthy. They tend to be a little more of the rule breakers because they are supposed to. The whole point of the Ragabash is that they are the one who questions authority. They are the one who is kind of always asking, is this the right plan? Should we really be doing this? And I believe that the Jay Billion, who will be joining us next week, is going to be playing a Ragabash. The next aspect, or the next auspice, is the Theurge. Theurge is born under the crescent moon, so there's a little bit of moonlight in the sky, but not a lot when they are born. They are seers, shamans, and they are the mystics of the werewolf community, the Garu community, and they get the ability to speak with spirits and command spirits. And I believe, Ray, you are playing a Theurge, is that correct?
that is correct.
Okay. Which very well, or fits in well with your background where you started hearing spirits at a young age, because that is something that does happen to Garu. As they near the point where they go through their first change, they can, because they are so closely tied with the spirit world, they can start to actually hear the spirits and possibly even maybe get a glimpse of them here and there. Next, we have the Philodox, which is the half moon. So they are the judges and lawmakers. They are the ones who kind of try to find the balance between those on the low end of the rage spectrum and those on the higher end of the rage spectrum. And I believe, Dwayne, you decided to go Philodox, is that correct?
Yes. I felt that it matched my character's concept the most.
Yeah, I think being a kind of a peacenik who suddenly finds that they're a 9-foot tall murder machine,
Right.
finding balance in that does seem like a good thing. Next, we have the Galliard. So the Galliards are the lore keepers and tale singers. They tell the deeds of the Garu and they carry on their history because of the fact that werewolves are supernatural creatures, and because of some of the things that they've done in the past that we will touch on, humanity is terrified of them. When they go into their war form, which we'll go into later, called Krynos, they instill what is called the delirium on mortals. And those mortals will either cower in fear or go, catatonic, or they'll try to rationalize what they saw by saying, oh, it was a bear or something like that. Or potentially they might go crazy and attack you. But all of that kind of ties into the history of werewolves, and it makes them kind of afraid of man, because there's only so many werewolves, but there's millions of humans. So they have what's called the veil, where they don't let themselves be known to humanity, just because pitchforks and torches come out. So the Galliards are the lore keepers because the Garu don't write anything down. They have a verbal tradition of storytelling, and that is what the Galliards contribute to the nation. Zach, you had kind of talked about maybe going Galliard.
Yeah, I'll go with Galliard because I think it's going to be a little bit more interesting playing a Lupus Galliard, and working out how communication works with a creature that does not have the
humanity's grasp of language, maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't have that inbuilt knowledge of language structure. So I think that's going to be a little bit more interesting to work with than a wolf murder monster.
And as Zach just hinted at, the final one is the full moon. So these are Garu who are born under the full light of Luna's moon, and they have a full load of her rage. They are the warriors and protectors. They bring destruction to the worm and the weaver wherever they dwell and breed. They are the quintessential 9-foot-tall murder machine. They are warriors among warriors, because every single Garu, every single werewolf, even a Ragabash, can turn into a giant werewolf and go crazy. So these are the cream of the crop. And then next are the tribes. There are a lot of them, so I'm not going to go through them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the tribes that we have within this group. So since we have 2 Children of Gaia, if I remember correctly, Ray and Dwayne, you guys are both doing Children of Gaia?
Correct.
Okay. So the Children of Gaia is one of the 13 tribes of Garu. They are the most moderate tribe. They nurture and try to care for, well, pretty much everybody. The Children of Gaia tend to look at peaceful resolutions before anything else. So where some tribes get offenders will charge right in and just tear everything apart. The Children of Gaia are going to be much more, let's try to negotiate, or let's try to work this out before we turn it into a 9-foot-tall murder machine and tear everybody apart. So they tend to try to, instead of punish, I guess rehabilitate would be what I'd say. And then Zach, you were a Bonar, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So Bonars are one of the tribes that I find the most fascinating. They're one of my favorite tribes. So good job in picking them. The Bonars have gone through multiple different name changes throughout the years. They started out as the Warders of Men. So they were the tribe who, when everybody else was kind of staying out in the wilderness and staying with the wolves, they were the ones who were assigned to go and get close to mankind. That's the Glasswalkers. I'm sorry. The Bonars were the weakest, and so they kind of got the scrubs. So they tend to have been the most resilient. They focus on survival and kind of making do with what is there. They are still predominantly in the cities, just because they will not only live where other people don't want to, but they will thrive there. So they tend to be the best informed tribe. They're consummate spies. Members live in poverty and have a casual regard for Garter traditions. And we don't know what J Billion is going to place, so we will move on. And we'll start with the actual putting dots on the sheet. So, attributes. We have physical, social, and mental. You will pick one of these to be your primary, and in that you will place 7 dots. Then you will choose a secondary, and in that you will put 5 dots. And then in the tertiary, you will put 3 dots. In the physical, you've got strength, dexterity, and stamina, so that's pretty self-explanatory. In the social, we've got charisma, manipulation, and appearance. And in the mental, we have perception, intelligence, and wits. And I think that you guys have all done this, got this kind of part figured out. Was there any questions? It doesn't.
No, attributes are always the easy part.
It is kind of the easy part. You just kind of look at your concept and go, yep, okay. So then we move on to the abilities. We've got talents, skills, and knowledges. So talents are things that your character is just kind of naturally gifted at. Skills are things that they have worked or trained at, and then knowledges is things that they have studied. So you would again put these at primary, secondary, and tertiary, and you would put 13 in your primary, 9 in your secondary, and 5 in your tertiary. And at this point, none of these can go above 3. Oh, I should have mentioned that in attributes, I asked that we put 4 as the maximum, just because you guys are all very young, and 5 is basically the peak of what a human can attain. A bunch of teenagers or 20-somethings aren't going to have something at a 5. So, if anybody has any questions on any of the abilities, what they do, how they are used, let me know. Otherwise, give me a thumbs up when you're ready to move on.
Do some abilities give freebies if you take them? And if so, which ones?
Give freebies?
Well, sorry, specialties.
Oh, yes. Asking a good question that I was not ready for.
Be 3 if you have 3 dots in one skill or talent.
Nope.
It's
4.
It's 4. But
Yeah,
there are certain categories, for example, I think it's like academics for an example.
Yeah, academics.
Science.
Let me scroll through my PDF here. Academics, crafts, science, and technology. So any of those with even 1 dot in them, you choose a specialty. And that's just kind of because those are such broad categories or such broad skills that you can have a general kind of overarching, but there's one specific thing that you've studied the most.
So what were those again?
Academics, science, technology, and crafts. Thank you for reminding me, Zach.
So not like performance though.
Yes, I would say performance. I usually use that one as a house rule. I also didn't generally tend to do expression, especially for a galliard, because that is like your chosen form of communication. If you want to do performance and do like interpretive dance, I'm cool with that. I will warn you that I will expect you to do that, like, you know, in roleplay.
On camera.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
No, because see, these are things that my character can do.
Oh,
So if I put any dots
in
in performance, see, by putting dots in performance, that's those things that the character that can do. Zachary cannot do those things. My character may be charming and charismatic. Zachary is not.
Oh, whatever.
Zachary doesn't know the first thing about the occult. My character does.
Samesies. My character has 3 dots in occult. Ray certainly doesn't.
Well.
Okay, I have put dots on the page successfully. There's gonna need to be some freebie spends. And there may be adjusting once I have my gifts, but for now, there's dots on the page.
What do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wait. 1, 2, 5, 6, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, that one's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
13, not 15. So
I know 2 of those were my freebies.
Well, I do give a free dot in Drive because it is 2021. Everybody knows how to drive an automatic.
I'm pretty sure I'm explicitly
except for you.
Not
yeah,
allowed
you don't,
to take.
Yeah, you
drive.
You don't get it. I should have clarified it.
We hand Zach the map and say navigate.
Yeah.
You think he can read?
Like, yes, this direction looks
right.
Good. All right, so just so make sure that I got it, we got 13, 9, and 5.
Yep.
Correct.
Yes.
10, 13. Ooh, I get another one. Yeah, we'll put one in that. 3, 6, 9. Okay, we are good.
Okay. The next is backgrounds, and you get 5 points to spend amongst your backgrounds. And those backgrounds are allies, so friends and confidants among humans and wolves, ancestors, the ability to channel the knowledge and skills of those Garu who've gone before you, contacts, a network of people throughout human society that you can tap for information, fate, prophecy surrounding you and your pack that you will fulfill. That one, because we're doing a short, kind of just like a short story, I would say don't bother putting any points into it, because that's more something that your storyteller would use for a longer chronicle to tie you in a little bit more. Fetish, you have an item of some sort with a spirit bound within it, giving it supernatural powers. So it's kind of like a magic item. Kinfolk, relatives who you are in touch with, human and wolf, who are immune to the delirium. So kinfolk are those who would potentially give birth to a Garu. That one, I would say, with their short story, while they are incredibly useful for a longer chronicle, probably wouldn't be super useful here for what we're doing. Mentor is a Garu of a higher rank who has taken an interest in your progress and offers advice. Purebreed, you have the blood of a Garu hero in your veins, and others can see it within you. This one is, again, going to be more useful in a longer term game. Resources, your personal wealth, possessions, and income. Rites, it's a number of rites, rituals, and that are empowered with spirit magic. Spirit heritage, you have the touch of a particular type of spirit on you, and they treat you as their own. And totem, the pack's totem is unique spirit, and this background is pooled among the pack to create it. At this point, you guys are barred from taking totem, because you are not part of a pack. You haven't gone through your rite of passage, so you are not full-fledged Garu and cannot have a pack totem.
But we can have fetishes?
But you can have fetishes.
Oh!
I will not stop you from having a fetish. I would say that probably no more than 2 or 3, because we don't want to have something too crazy powerful.
I will put 2 dots in my fetish.
And because of kind of the limited number of these that are really going to be valid for you guys, I will let you take any unspent background points and use them as freebies elsewhere on your sheet.
Yeah, I'm just going to do that.
I did that for you.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
a lot of the backgrounds don't make sense with the combination that I've picked.
Yeah, I was like, maybe ancestors, just because you can.
I think Bonars are actually ones that are restricted from taking ancestors.
I thought it was only Silent Striders.
So there's prohibited and restricted.
Ancestors and Purebreed are restricted. I would say that as a Galliard, I would let you have ancestors.
Just remind myself which I can't take before I start. Resources is probably one I can't take.
Resources is really the only one you can't take.
Unless you just run around with an ATM card in your mouth.
As a Bonar, it's prohibited.
Oh, okay.
It's a tribe thing.
It's a tribe thing.
He found somebody's wallet and he kept it.
Yeah. Resources is a little bit more long-term than that, though.
Yeah.
The 20th edition books are great for some things, but when you're trying to look up like something specific and it's a word or a phrase that shows up 114 times in 555-page PDF.
It's good times.
They are great books, but oh man.
If you just took the Farah out of them, I mean, there's so many pages you got right there.
It would shrink it down quite a bit, yeah.
You got the what out?
The other changing breeds.
So I took 1 dot in mentor, 2 in fetish, 1 in resources, and 1 in contacts.
Okay. So would you see your contacts as being? Well,
my contacts would probably be more of the humans that I had worked with at one point or another.
Okay. So we are in I meant to kind of give everybody a overview of where we're at, and I forgot. So this reminds me of that. So our sept is going to be in the extreme northeast corner of Minnesota. There is a small little town there called Ely, E-L-Y, if anybody wants to look it up on Google Maps. And Ely has the International Wolf Center, which is one of the reasons that I picked it. And so they do research on wolves and stuff there. So the sept is not in Ely, but it is close to Ely. So you could have human contacts in Ely or pretty much anywhere in the area.
Okay.
The next, we're quite a ways from Minneapolis. I think the next largest city is, I want to say the next largest city is Thunder Bay in Canada, because it's right up by the Canadian border. Yeah, Thunder Bay or Duluth. They're about the same distance. Duluth is almost straight south, and Thunder Bay is almost straight east.
You're being really generous when you say that these are large places.
Well, they're a lot bigger than Ely, which has a population of like 3,000 or something like that.
I'm pretty sure I've lived in apartments that have had a larger population than that.
So is the zoo that you came from in Minneapolis? Or Winnipeg, maybe? Or somewhere else?
He doesn't really know.
Okay.
His geography was not something that he was taught in the zoo. He escaped and followed and was found by a fetchkin and turned over to somebody somewhere.
So Zach just mentioned something that is a kin fetch. So because of the fact that Garu are born, a lot of times what they will do if they believe that a particular child is shown, they know that they're born of kinfolk. They know that they have an opportunity or potential to become a Garu, as they will assign a spirit to them. That spirit is called a kin fetch. And what it will do is when that child, or if that child goes through change, it will go and find the closest Garu sept and notify them that that child has gone through a change. It's a way that they can keep those children from being lost. So it's very, very likely that a kin fetch that was maybe following another kinfolk saw your change and ran and reported it. That's definitely not outside the realm of possibility. Okay. Does everybody have their backgrounds picked?
I'm still looking over the fetishes, see what I want.
Okay.
I have 2 dots in ancestors, 1 dot in mentor, and 2 dots in Rite.
And we picked your rights, and we kind of have your ancestors hammered out. I think I said before the stream that the ancestors allows you to, once per session, you roll that ancestor rating, and you can basically, what it is you are pulling from that ancestral memory or pulling a ancestor spirit basically to you and learning from them. And you roll that, and the number of successes that you get on that adds to a pool of another skill, talent, or knowledge. And I believe that we have a merit that we picked out for you that will make that number lower. So you'll be able to use that a little bit more frequently, a little bit more, well, make it more useful for you overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm liking truth earring as a fetish.
Truth. My favorites are Magpie's swag. Maybe not so much for a lupus, but alright, truth earring. Level 1 Gnosis 6. This small golden earring acts as a fairly reliable lie detector when activated. Should the wearer be lied to, the earring vibrates softly. All rolls made to try to deceive the werewolf through speech or sound are made at a +3 difficulty. The earring doesn't warn against visual deceptions. Yep, that's fine.
And is that something that is like I have to? Can I just say it's always on?
I would say that if you removed it, you would have to reactivate it, and that would be you would roll your Gnosis at a difficulty of 6. You only need 1 success to activate it. But beyond that, I'd say we'll just have it always active.
Or for visual purposes, does it have to be a gold earring?
No.
Okay. It's his tag.
Okay.
Like when animals that are being tracked, he was at one point tracked. He has a tagger, and it has been detractified and turned into a truth earring. Sound
So
good?
when you're in Hamid form, do you have that little tag hanging from your ear?
He doesn't go into Hamid form. When he goes into
If you were to go into Hamid form, or do you just
when he goes into Glabra form, he has a sort of punk rock look, so it gives a kind of a punk rock look.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you put how many points into fetish?
So that's 1 point in fetish.
That's 1, because it's a level 1, so you can have another level 1.
Wait, I can have 2 for 1 dot?
Well, how many dots did you put in?
I've put 1 dot total in backgrounds.
Oh, okay. Then you get a one level
That's
of
just in fetish. Yep.
fetish. So you get a level 1 fetish. Dwayne, you're muted.
Muted. I'm a fool. I have 2 in fetish, so I can take 1 level 2 or 2 level 1s.
Yep.
And I am looking at them right now. I'm probably just going to take 1 level 2 just so we don't have a whole bunch of them and it's just easier to track. But I'm trying to find something that kind of matches my character. Zach, what did you take again?
I took the earring.
Truth earring.
Oh, the truth earring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not feeling the cup. I'm not feeling that. I definitely don't want a dagger. That kind of goes against the whole like, being peaceful kind of thing.
The harmony flute.
Harmony flute.
It takes away rage.
Hmm.
It stops people from being angry.
That might be interesting. But that is only a level 1, which means I would get another level 1 as well.
Mirror shades. There you go.
Mirror shades, or like I said, the magpies.
Magpies are too.
Magpie's swag.
Magpie's swag is
Isn't it?
incredibly useful because anything that you put in, well,
No, it's one.
anything that isn't like a complex machine like a cell phone or something like that you put into that bag, when you change shape or when you transition between the
It doesn't.
physical world and the spirit world, it goes with you. Because if you change shape and you don't have clothing bound to you, or or in that bag, it just drops on the ground when you change into a wolf. Or when you turn into Krynos, it shreds.
Right.
So Magpie's swag would allow you to basically go, okay, take off all your clothes, put them in the bag, put the bag back on, change shape. It's better than nothing.
Hold on, everyone, while I take off my clothes and shove them in this bag.
Now, I will say that I will allow everybody to have one outfit
One set of extra clothing.
bound to you.
Oh.
Ray has the right for it, so she could have done that for you guys.
Uh-huh.
And she can do that should you find anything useful along the way.
My pronouns are they, them.
What's that?
My pronouns are they, them.
They, then, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll go with the let's go with the magpie swag, and then we'll go with the mirror shades. Why not?
What do the mirror shades do?
So in order to cross the gauntlet and step into the Umbra, which is the spirit world, you need to concentrate on a mirrored surface. Mirror shades lets you always have a mirrored surface.
And the gauntlet is considered 2 lower than it would otherwise be.
Okay. So they make it really easy to step sideways.
Well, I think that takes care of my fetishes.
Okay.
At least in this game. Haha.
Okay, then to the next thing, and this is probably where we're going to spend a little bit more time, and that is on gifts. So gifts are tricks that have been taught to the Garu by spirits, and you get gifts based upon your breed, auspice, and tribe. So you, as a Hamid, will have different gifts available to you compared to a Lupus, and vice versa. So let me get back up here. And we've got 2 Hamids, so we will start with Hamids first. Here's where we search for gifts and have 432.
Yeah, it's fun.
Good times.
Okay, Hamids. Alright, so as a Hamid, you can choose from Ape Craft's Blessing, City Running, Master of Fire, Persuasion, and Smell of Man. Ape Craft's Blessing allows you to awaken the spirit in tools. So you can basically become really good at fixing stuff or building stuff. City Running allows you to do parkour. So you can run up the side of a building or do other cool tricks. Master of Fire allows you to take less damage from fire. So when you have that gift active, you are actually taking just lethal damage instead of aggravated damage from fire. Persuasion allows you to imbue your words with special power. So basically, people become more likely to be friendly with you, be more likely to trust those things that you say. And then Smell of Man basically makes you Snow White. Animals dig you. And I believe that that one is active all the time. So, I believe that Ray, you had already chosen one.
Yeah, I took Master of Fire.
Master of Fire, yes. Okay. And then, while you are considering your options there, let us jump to Lucas. Okay. All right, Zach.
Yep.
Hare's Leap allows you to jump really far. Heightened Senses allows you to have the senses that you are normally or used to having in your lupus, your birth form, in your other forms. Predator's Arsenal.
So, Predator's Arsenal is claws and bite in Hobbit form. So
that's right.
So
That's
Lupus
right.
power number 1 is a V5 discipline power. Lupus power number 2 is a V5 discipline power. Lupus power number 3 is a V5 discipline.
It pretty much is, isn't it?
Yep. And then there's the one for sense prey, where you're better at hunting, sensing a prey to feed the pack. And there is one that means you can run away better.
Yeah, Prey Mind. It's just
So
you and
as a Galliard, I think there's not a lot of epic stories being told about running away.
This is true, yeah.
So we're gonna eliminate that one. He's a lupus, so he's not spending a lot of time in Hobbit anyways. So I think the Predator's Arsenal is maybe if he was being in an Aran, maybe, but I'm passing that one as well.
Heightened Senses, I don't think you're going to spend a whole lot of time in Hamid, so that one can probably go.
Oh yeah, that's just Hamid that affects, or I thought it affects.
Actually, I think it does affect all.
Yeah.
So that might not be a bad idea.
So yeah, I'm thinking actually Heightened Senses, so that he can be more aware of the details, so that he can tell a better story. I think that's it for it. That's where I'm going with that one.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So next we move to the auspice gifts. Ray, you picked yours as Mother's Touch, if I remember correctly.
No, I picked. No, that was for my.
Oh, you took that for your tribe. That's right. You took Spirit Speech for the Theurge.
Spirit Speech.
Yes, and that will allow you to talk to spirits, which is incredibly useful as a Theurge. So let's move to Dwayne with the Philodox.
Yes.
Okay. Fangs of Judgment, Persuasion, we already went over that one. Resist Pain, Scent of the True Form, and Truth of Gaia.
I actually have already chosen mine.
Oh, wonderful. What did you pick?
I went with Scent of the True Form.
And what does that do?
I am able to smell kinfolk or fellow werewolves automatically. In all other cases, I have to roll Perception and Primal Urge, difficulty 6, and different successes will tell me what the entity is. 1 is normal human or animal. 2 will detect vampires, changelings, and other splats. 4 will sniff out a mage, a ghoul, or a Fomor. And then there's a couple unfamiliar scents that you just can't recognize.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, and then on to Galliard. Did you already pick one, or do we want to go through them?
No, I mean, I already have heightened senses, so I'm not going to be taking that one clearly. I don't like mind speak.
It's like telepathy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a little weird for a lupus.
As a lupus, I'm not sure beast speak necessarily, because that's like, I mean, it kind of works for him. The idea behind him is that he thinks it's his mission to rescue other enslaved animals from man. So I think beast speech, when he's unchaining a dog that was locked in the backyard, doesn't quite work, because then he gets an idea that the dog doesn't want to leave the human.
No, I like it
which
here.
confuses him. So I think that the beast speech, to make that communication happen. But I do love characters that can talk to animals. Yeah, I'm taking beast speech. I want to talk to animals.
Okay. I was expecting you to go perfect recall, considering what you'd said previously.
The stories don't have to be true. They don't have to be 100% accurate. He can pick up on details to know more. Yeah, it's more about getting the point across and being able to express it. So, which not having the right words, he's already struggling with.
Yeah, it's personal interpretation. As long as the meaning is across.
That's right.
It doesn't have to be true. It just has to be good.
Exactly. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. He's not a philodox. He doesn't have to remember the facts as they were.
You know, an old saying that I always use is, never let the truth stand in the way of a good story. So I expect you to not let the truth stand in the way of a good story, because that is a very good Galliard thing.
Just don't ask him to remember the stories, because he has not yet been taught. Don't lie. There's less to remember that way.
Yes. All right. So let's jump to tribal gifts, and we'll do these in alphabetical order. So we'll stay with Zach and go to the Bonars tribal gifts.
I've already made a decision on that. I'm going to go with resist toxin.
Resist toxin. Okay. So you're going to be resilient. Wonderful. So then let's jump to Children of Gaia. Ray has already picked one. They went with Mother's Touch, which allows them to heal, which is super useful, because that will allow you to heal, I think, even up to aggravated, if I remember correctly. So that leaves Dwayne. You can take that one, or you can take Brother's Scent, Jam Weapon, or Resist Pain. Oh, or Mercy. I forgot about Mercy. Mercy allows you to, I think Mercy sounds like one that would fit your character. As a Garu, when you use your claws and teeth, that is aggravated damage. So it is damage that is incredibly damaging, especially to normal humans and mortals and stuff like that. Mercy allows you to temporarily dull those, so you do not do aggravated damage. Resist Pain allows you to, well, just like it says,
resist pain.
So as anybody who has not played World of Darkness games may not be aware, as you take damage, that punishment to your body begins to add up, and you start to take negatives due to the pain issue, and resist pain allows you to ignore that. Another thing that allows you to ignore that is one of those gifts of Gaia called Rage. You can spend a Rage to ignore wound penalties. So basically it allows you to do that without having to spend that precious resource known as Rage. Jam Weapon allows you to jam a weapon. So if somebody is shooting a gun at you, you can make it stop. And Brother's Scent, I believe, didn't work that one up. I think that one kind of allows you to, people like it will ignore you, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yeah, you pretty much, for example, a naked man covered in blood and carrying a grand glaive walking through a high society ball would draw no particular notice.
Yep.
Somebody wrote that from experience. There's a large story behind that.
They're different. Of
There's
course.
a story behind that.
I was also going to go with Mother's Touch, but now that I'm reading Mercy, that seems more something that would fall in line with her. So yes, I am going to change it from Mother's Touch to Mercy.
Yeah, so Mercy seemed like it would fit really well with your concept.
Doesn't mean I'm going to use it, but I have the option.
Well, I mean,
It is there to be ignored.
You don't have to grant mercy to everybody, just
Right.
those who you, because you are the judge,
Right.
just those that you judge worthy of it. And I think that drops us to Rage, Gnosis, and Willpower. Rage is set by your auspice.
Mhm.
Theurge gets 2, Philodox gets 3, and the Galliard gets 4, I believe.
Rawr.
Gnosis is set by your breed. Hamids get 1. Lupus get 5. And then willpower is dependent upon your tribe. I believe Bonars get 3 or 4, and I think Children of Gaia get 3 or 4. I can't remember which is which though.
Onar's got 4.
Yeah, we have.
4.
Yes.
We're high rollers with willpower, apparently.
All right, and that brings us to the finishing touches. So this is where freebie points come in. Everybody gets 15 freebie points. You can gain up to 7 additional ones by taking flaws. Freebie points can be spent on upgrading or increasing pretty much anything with point values that vary. Increasing attributes cost 5 points per dot. Increasing abilities cost 2 points per dot. Backgrounds is 1 point per dot. Gifts, I believe, are 7. So they eat up quite a bit. Rage is 1, Gnosis is 2, Willpower is 1, I believe.
6.
Yep, I am correct. Wow.
7, 8.
And at this point is where you can take those 3s that you had in abilities and move them up to 4
9,
and
10.
get a specialty in those. And you can also purchase merits.
Oh yeah. Ooh, merit. Find me a merit.
Merits are fun, but flaws is where it's really at. I love flaws.
Are there any flaws that you would suggest?
Let's look. Some that are kind of fun to play with is like band transformation. So you can't transform under if like certain criteria are met. Let me find the actual. I always find that one kind of fun. Just because, like, if there's soothing music playing, you can't. It calms you, chills you out. So you can't call upon the rage in order to change. And it just happens to be that you walk in someplace that has like chill music, and it's like, oh crap, I can't change.
Sorry, I would Hulk out here, but there's slow jazz playing.
But yeah, man, just like everybody calm down, man. Gullible can be fun.
What page are these on?
Merits and flaws start towards the end of the book on page
like 470 was where the appendix
470-ish.
starts.
Yeah.
Oh, way in the appendix.
Way at the end.
Yeah, the 20th line books apparently decided that the appendix is where merits.
There are a lot of them, so I can kind of see that where it's like, let's just stick them at the end.
Oh, and they're not even. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, so they're not even separated.
They're separated by
You mean they're not
categories, so like
separated?
physical, mental, social, supernatural.
I mean the merits from the flaws. 'Cause I was like, oh, these are all merits. I'll just go all the way down. Nope. There's flaws.
Nope.
There's flaws mixed in.
Yeah.
No, it lists all like the physical merits, and then it lists all the physical flaws, and then it goes on to the next category.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was looking for flaws for Sage, like none of them felt right, mostly. There's a few that that did, but a lot of them are like, no.
Yeah, there's some flaws I find just like leap out. Like if you've got a specific concept in mind where you're just like, yeah, that one. I need that one. An example is in a live game or an online game that I'm playing. I am playing a lupus theurge, and I have given him the gullible flaw because being a lupus, he's only 3 years old. And so his manipulation I have at 1 because wolves don't understand lying. Wolves don't understand being anything other than truthful. So the gullible flaw where you just automatically take everything at face value just makes sense for a 3-year-old wolf.
I've seen my dog pull some stuff.
Yeah, like I used to have a.
They learned that from you, though.
My dog fakes getting up to go to the bathroom at night, so that when I get up, she can get back into bed and get a better spot.
I had a Rottweiler when I was a teen, who, when she was a puppy, she made a mess in the dining room, and she ripped off the door of like the hutch to hide it. So when we picked up that hutch door, I was like, ugh.
Oh, that's painful.
There are some very painful flaws, yeah.
I like it though because it fits so perfectly. I'm gonna take a 6-point flaw.
What are you taking?
Flashbacks.
I did think about that one for Sage, but I wasn't sure.
At the beginning of
I-
each story, I have to make a willpower roll. If I succeed, I'm good. If I fail, my willpower is 1 for the duration.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
mean-
brutal.
That's also at the beginning of every story.
Session.
It says at the beginning of a story, but then if you fail, you only have 1 for the session. So I'm thinking they just worded it wrong. It's supposed to be at the beginning of each session.
Yeah. Hi, Kat. Say hi to Dante, everybody.
Hi, Dante.
Yeah, because you get to roll again at the beginning of the next session to see if your willpower for the next session rolls or works.
Yeah.
So I think they just worded it weird.
It's brutal.
Well, I mean, it fits because it says you managed to make it through your first change, but not wholly intact. Mostly insignificant, especially with the story of her being at a rally where she's trying to be all, peaceful, and something happens, and shots are fired, and I changed and ended up killing a whole bunch of people before somebody managed to calm me down. Another Garu was there just by chance. But I think when I wrote it, it was like I had killed 17 people or something like that.
So we'll have to ask on this one because this is going. So are some of these, I'm assuming, just aren't going to work for what we're doing as a short.
Yeah. If you have one that
two-
you're kind of thinking about, throw it out there, and I'll let you know if I'm.
Well, I mean, Dark Fate seems tempting. So it's you labor under some future doom marked by fate for a horrible end. All you strive for will amount to nothing. From time to time, you receive flashes of these visions regarding causing you to suffer prematurely. You can overcome these morbid moods by spending willpower, but this only works temporarily. Sooner or later, you meet your fate. When is left up to the storyteller, but what will happen during the course of the chronicle. Otherwise, the flaw would be no point. In the meantime, however, you can still attempt to achieve something worthwhile. You may do so with a sense of freedom and abandon, since you know that unless the situation leads directly to your ultimate doom, you have a good chance of surviving. So, doesn't really give it a time frame on when the fate kicks in. So,
how about we say no to that one?
all right.
Just because this is a little bit more of a constrained a story. Oh, thanks for the raid, Elves of Zion.
The raid. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, so with that 6-point flaw, I'm gonna slightly offset it a bit by picking up a 3-point merit, which was, let me go back and find it again, because I already went away from it. What was it? Calm Heart. Gives me 2 extra dice when attempting to resist frenzy. I've learned from my mistakes in a way.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
And then, I still got 3 more points.
So, Hanaro prone, was that fit in with the period of the story? It's based off of botching a willpower roll.
What was it? Wait, what?
I was asking a question for the storyteller. Hanaro prone. Characters suffering from this flaw are prone to bouts of depression, indolence, and mood swings. You must make willpower roll every time. Roll every scene in which you suffer from a setback. If the roll fails, you are bound to temporary Hanaro. You may become morose or active suddenly. Blah, blah, blah. Your perception goes awry if you botch. You also acquire temporary derangement. You may delay it for a single scene by setting willpower.
You know what? Yeah, I'll allow it.
I will take it. Since my character has the feels distraught for not being connected with their family.
Yeah, I think that one could lead to some very interesting outcomes. So yeah, I like that.
Or it could just lead to some shitty poetry.
Either way, I am 100% behind it. All right, let's find you a good merit, Dwayne.
Yeah, either another 3-point or,
Couple of
lower ones.
lower ones, yeah.
Not really mechanically inclined. She has studied and she is good at law. Maybe eidetic memory.
That could be useful. That's like a free. I don't remember this. ST tell me, which is pretty useful.
It's essentially like the Galliard gift.
Yeah,
it's
perfect recall.
Things.
Yeah.
I memorize complicated trails, complex scents, detailed howls. Make a roll to summon enough concentration to absorb what your senses detect. And then all the normal stuff like documents I can memorize easily. That would be a twofer. I don't know, this is always where I have the worst problem is trying to figure out where I put all my extra points in.
All right, so have you already put any free points into Gnosis?
Oh yeah, I boosted my Gnosis up to 4. My willpower is now up to 6.
Because that's usually, especially with Werewolf, says when you're rolling Gnosis to step sideways or to activate a gift, especially if a gift needs it, it's a good place to throw it.
How much is it to raise rage? 1 or 2?
1. Rage is easy. Gnosis is a little harder, so Gnosis is 2.
Anger is easy. Spirituality is less easy.
Very much so, yeah.
Calm. Yeah, I'll mull it over. I only got one dot to stick somewhere. Everything else has been filled.
Yeah. There's so many good ones. You just kind of get a dig and be like, oh, yeah, I like that one.
And then what do you think about ambidextrous? Is because he's a wolf. He doesn't have the concept of left hand or right hand.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
All right.
Useful.
And I have a character sheet that is fairly filled. Oh wait, not that much willpower. Astral is disagreeing with me. It's how many.
Yes,
which
take
button I
all
picked.
of the willpower.
Considering that the tribe starts somewhere between 3 and 5, having a character starting at 8 seems excessive for this game.
The merits I took were Ancestor Ally, Common Sense, Reputation, and Time Sense.
So you never have to worry about not knowing what time it is.
The gist I got from it is, yeah, like you don't lose track of time, like, so even if you find yourself, lost somewhere, you have a good idea of, like, how long you've been on the road, and so it's harder to get lost that way.
Mm-hmm.
Time is a human construct.
It needs torn down.
The sun is up, the sun is not up. That's all you need to know.
When the sun is up, I get fed.
Can we take supernatural merits?
Yeah. You guys are supernatural. You can't take supernatural ally though. I already told Reno on that one. You can't have a vampire friend. Sorry.
I was thinking more like changeling.
Oh.
Oh yes. Also, yeah, they don't like us.
Like, who does, honestly?
Nobody. That's the point. We're fighting a losing war against those that were
vampires.
corrupt.
Vampires would love werewolves if they would just stop killing them, like, on sight.
Right?
As long as they can control you.
Ugh, I don't know if that's worth taking. That's dangerous.
Which one?
I was thinking of taking Moonbound.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, I was looking at that one too. And I was also looking at Cursed. But I took neither of those.
Moonbound gives you an extra die to all of your rolls when Luna waxes in your auspice. However, you also have one less die in every roll when it wanes in your auspice.
I mean, it is a short story. Is it a waxed moon or a waning moon?
You know, I have a werewolf dice set that I got like 20 years ago that came with a die that had all of the auspices on it, so that you could roll to find out what the moon phase was. And in 25 years, I've lost it apparently, because I was looking for it so that I could use it during this tale and be like, okay, it is a gibbous moon, so we'll just have to wing it.
All right. Well,
but yeah, we will not be.
We're not going to be going through a whole lot of.
So yeah,
probably not useful.
Spirit magnet could be fun.
Spirit magnets.
It's right underneath the moonbound. It turns you into Snow White, but for spirits when you're in the Umbra. Good and bad.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I kind of like about Werewolf. A lot of the merits in here can be both good and bad.
Oh, what the crap! Let's do it. I have no way to. I have no way to control any of them, but sure. Spirit magnets. Got it.
It's fine. I can talk to them.
Like, yes, come over here. My friend will speak with you.
Yeah, come over here. I can't talk to you, but they can. Okay, so let's see.
Just Sage using Linda as like a homing beacon, like.
Let's see. All the spirits are going that way. I bet Linda's that way. Let's follow them.
I'm Linda.
Okay.
Contribution of spirits heading that way.
So then, if Astral form fills in the different forms.
Yes, our astral sheet fills everything in, although I would always double check to make sure it's right. Sometimes the numbers get wonky.
But
sometimes there's a delay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, this is a good time to cover those forms because we haven't talked about that yet. So, as we've said, that we've kind of covered 3 of the forms. You've got your human form or your Hamid. You've got the lupus or the wolf form. And then I already mentioned the war form, which is Krynos. And Krynos is the 9-foot tall, half man, half wolf that you would see in most werewolf movies. But there are a total of 5. So in between those 3 slots 2 other forms. There is the Glabro form, and that is near man. So they are kind of what you would expect for like a Neanderthal or almost like a Bigfoot. So that is where you still look mostly human, but you grow a few inches, put on 20 pounds of muscle, and get a little bit hunchbacked, have your kind of the canines start to poke out a little bit, and you've got some pretty nasty looking claws on the ends of your hands. You get stronger and you get tougher, but you get uglier and you have a hard time talking because of those things. And on the other hand, you have the Hispo form, and that is the direwolf form. So you become a huge wolf. They are stronger, they are faster, they are more resilient than a wolf. From a distance, you might maybe pass as a wolf, but if you get closer, it becomes very obvious that it is not a normal wolf. So those are the 5 forms that you can assume. When you wish to change shape, you will roll stamina plus primal urge. That is the kind of your connection to those forms and the connection to your body. And it depends on the form that you are in, how basically how difficult it is to move. So Hamid, Krinos, and Lupus, because those are kind of the 3 primary forms, it's fairly easy to shift from them. Glabro and Hispo are a little bit more difficult. At any point in time, you can automatically, without being required to roll, shift back to your breed form, so the form that you were born in. Or you can spend a point of rage and you can instantly shift into any form that you wish.
All right.
But I think that
I think I am good. All my dots are all over the place. All my numbers look good.
all right, and we are at about break time. So how about we break now at 9:35, come back in 10 minutes at 9:45?
All right.
All
Yeah.
right. Welcome back to Vorpal Tales, where we are starting out on a rite of passage. We have completed character creation, and we are going to start getting into the actual story now. So, just a refresher, how about everybody go through and list the pertinent information about your character, and then we will get rolling.
Same order?
Yeah.
So again, yes, I am playing Linda Davis, I just turned off the music. The Hamid. That's going to be loud for a second. Sorry about that. The Hamid Philodox Children of Gaia, who was originally a peace activist, and during one of their peaceful protests, yeah, there you go. A word I can't think of. Things got a little bit violent due to a group that had come in, and with all of the kind of things that ensued after that, something took over, and she just got really scared, and the primal urge had taken over, and when she had come to, kind of stopped by a fellow Garu that had been in the crowd, she had seen that she had killed some innocents and others who had like started the riot.
Wonderful, thank you. Zach.
I am playing Breaker of Chains, a Lupus Galliard Bonar, who was raised in a zoo. And when some drunk teenagers got into the wrong place, it created an opportunity for him to escape. It did not end well for the teenagers.
And Ray.
I am playing Sage Lavat, the child of Gaia Thurge, who grew up in the foster care system, and when they were about 12, 13 years old, was awoken in the middle of the night by their guardians and their social worker attempting to forcibly place them in a institution after, due to them seemingly talking to nobody who's there, and a spirit that they spoke to from time to time named Kiva urged Sage not to let the guardians take them, and to rage and to get out of there.
Right back. Okay. So each of you has either grown up in the Sept or been brought to the Sept in order to receive survival training. We are starting out in the Sept of the Countless Lakes. It is in extreme northeastern Minnesota near the small town of Eli. It is a very small mixed tribal Sept made up of mostly children of Gaia and Modnars, but there are a few representatives of other tribes as well. Werewolves are creatures caught between worlds. They are both human and wolf, yet not fully of either one. These modern monsters have primal souls, each one a beast of flesh with the heart of spirit. Werewolves are sufficiently like us that in their human forms they seem as mortal as the rest of us, no stronger, faster, or more resilient. When the change comes over them, however, they become true monsters, strong enough to smash down doors and claw apart metal, swift enough to run down any human, and even able to shrug off bullets as if they are nothing. Werewolves are born shapeshifters, descended from bloodlines that reach back to prehistory. Most don't know what they are until they reach maturity and undergo the first change. At that point, they find they weren't really human or wolf at all. Three factors define the Garb: breed, auspice, and tribe. Breed is the birth form of the werewolf. Some born to a human parent and a Garu parent, others to a wolf and a Garu. Still others are born to bloodlines or kinfolk, people who possess werewolf blood but are not shapeshifters themselves, and may not even know of their lineage, their heritage. Some werewolves are born to Garu mating, though theirs is a difficult lot. Auspice is the moon phase of a werewolf's birth. The light of Luna affects them, granting them specific blessings that will govern their path in life. The brighter the birth moon, the more rage the werewolf feels within them. Those born under the full moon are the most furious of all, the warriors among a warrior people. Tribe is a social unit as well as a family. A werewolf may come to a tribe for ideological reasons, but most are descended from a tribe's bloodlines. A tribe defines itself by its kin, its territory, its ideology, and its tribal totem. But while these three things can define a werewolf, a fourth bond exists: the bond of the pack. A werewolf's pack mates are like immediate family, best friend, and brothers in arms, all rolled into one. So please join us as we form a pack and travel over the river and through the wood. Our tale starts, as it does many times, with a meeting. This meeting is a monthly moot within the sept. Present are the pack alpha, the den father, the native man who has been in charge of raising, well, not necessarily raising, but training those of you who have traveled here, or those of you who were born here. He has brought you before the moot. This is not something that has happened in the past few months that you've been here, or even in the past years, those of you who have been here for longer. This is odd. This is strange. You sit through the moot, through all of the storytelling, through all of the pack business, until finally the alpha calls you forward. Most of you know him as Sleepless or Restless. He's had a few names that you've heard. You know that his human name is BJ, or William Jr. You also know that he is quite possibly the most lethal warrior that the Sept has. He is a child of Gaia, like a few of you, and he is an Arun, so you know not to mess with him. You know that he barely sleeps, and you know that even though he's not the most physically impressive man, standing at only about 5'6", but you know that he's been known to pick up a motorcycle on his own. But he calls the three of you forward, rather upset that the fourth member of your training class can't be found. But with a shrug and a shake of his head, he rumbles, "Fucking Ragabash. All right, you three, get up here. Your den father, Stalking Cougar, or as I like to call him, the old man who talks too damn much. He says that the three of you are ready. Well, the four of you, but I've got my questions about that fourth one. But he says that you're ready. He says that you're ready to undergo the rite of passage, that you are ready to prove yourselves, to prove that you are Garu and not just, I don't know what you would be if you're not Garu. So, this is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. An ally of ours, known as Grandmother, has gone missing. She usually sends us messages here and there through the spirits, and they haven't come back, or they haven't reported back. The spirits that we have sent have not come back. So you are going to take what you have on you right now, and you are going to leave right now, and you are going to go and find her. You are going to find out what happened to Grandmother, and you are going to return and report. Do you think that you can accomplish this?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, don't just stand here. Get fucking going.
I'm assuming we know who this grandmother person is.
No, you guys have never
Having
heard of
been-
her.
Would I have heard of her?
So
No.
Okay.
So off to the side.
who is grandmother?
Off to the
We've been
side,
here
you-
for several months, and this is
Some
the
of you have
first
been
I've
here
heard
for a
of her.
while, yeah. So off to the side, you see the den father, the man that you guys have spent the most of your time around. The den father is one of the elders. He is in charge of training the cubs. He's in charge of basically teaching young Garu how to be Garu. And you see him motion you over. Well, sorry about that. I was kind of expecting him to give you at least a little bit more information. But apparently that's all he wants you to know. But come on. And he leads you away from the fire out into the edge of the sept. And he pulls he's got a leather, like a messenger bag that he kind of pulls around to his side. And he pulls out a map and a compass. And he hands them, just kind of holds them out.
Sage will take them both.
Okay. He says, all right, unfold that over there on the hood of that truck. I'm going to go grab a flashlight. He steps away and comes back just a moment later. He's got a little hand crank flashlight that he gives a few cranks and shines it down on the map. He spreads it out a little bit and he says, okay, we're right around here. And he puts his finger down on the map in the general vicinity of Eli, Minnesota. And then he drags his finger to the right and to the right and to the right until he stops. And where his finger stops, if you didn't know better, you would say was right smack dab in the middle of Lake Superior.
That's water.
Is where you guys need to go.
The middle of a lake?
And as he picks his finger up and he brings the flashlight down, you can see that on the map, there is a tiny little dot. And he says, that is Caribou Island. That is where Grandmother lives. And that is all the help that I can give you, unfortunately.
Thank you.
I've definitely worked with worse.
So, as you guys look at the map, as he leaves, you can see that it is kind of on the eastern quarter of Lake Superior. And it is almost nearly straight east, but a little bit south. So you have a few different ways that you could potentially approach this. Looking at the map, you can see that almost directly south of you is Duluth. And those of you who are local to the area would know that Duluth is a major shipping port. You can get from the Atlantic Ocean to Duluth and get to basically the middle of the country with shipping. So you should be able to potentially acquire a boat, but that will mean that you are essentially sailing the entirety of Lake Superior. And I forgot to mention that it's March, which means that it is pretty damn cold. It's end of March, so the weather is turning, but it is still very chilly at night. So
What
you can
seps
go
are there
nearby
any other
seps?
seps between us and the water?
No. You know that there is another sept somewhere up in Canada that is, you think, Red Talon and maybe some younger brother or Wendigo. And then you know that there is a sept down south in the Dakotas somewhere, but there's not really any other septs nearby. But there are still a few other land routes. You could go north up into Canada and come down. There's a larger island not too far off the shore up in that area, or you could do the same thing and you could head to the south through or around Duluth and out onto the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and then try to go up from there, but that's a little bit more water.
Isn't Lake Superior in Minnesota?
Lake Superior borders Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan on the south, and then it is Ontario, Canada on the north.
Yes. So, yeah, like Sage says, so if we want to head out, like what time of day is it?
It's night.
It's night.
So probably 7 or 8 o'clock, but it's still fairly dark just because it is March in northern Minnesota.
So she looks at Linda and Breaker and they say, so if we drive.
Why would we drive?
I'm saying if we drive, we can be there in about an hour. If we walk, we can be there about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Roll intelligence survival.
I mean, we can just run across the green part till we get to the blue part.
And I'm saying like that'll take us about 12 hours.
How slow are you?
hold on. You said intelligent. That's not the right tab. Intelligence what?
Survival.
Intelligence survival.
Intelligence survival. Okay. There we go. I'll find it.
Actually, anybody that's looking at the map can roll this. Because you guys are all looking at the map.
So that is. I got 10, a 9, and a 5, and 2 3s.
Okay. And do you have 4 in survival?
I have 2 in survival.
You have 2 in survival. Okay. So if you have 4 dots in something and you have a specialty that is valid for the roll that you're making, those 10s would count as 2 successes. But instead you have 2 successes, which is enough for you to kind of look at the map and look at the scale on it and kind of put your thumb on it and go, okay, oh, that's like 300 miles as the crow flies. So to go over to it and then up and around in a car is going to be like 8.5 hours. On foot, it's going to be days of travel.
That is taking into the fact that wolves run a lot faster and can cover a lot more ground than humans.
Even as a wolf, you think it is going to be at least a day of travel, if not more. Because wolves can move at around, I think I figured it out once, and they can move pretty consistently at like around 20 miles an hour.
30, but yeah, okay. It's like 10 hours. Yeah, no, I don't see why. How are we going to get a car into the water? Where are we going to get a car?
We don't have to get a car into the water, but most lakes have a service to where you can like rent a boat. So we just have to get the car to the lake, and then we can get on a boat on the water.
Why do we need weaver tools? We can just be werewolves. Dwayne, you're muted.
So I'm all about going cross country.
I think the most effective way to do, like, we need to investigate Caribou Island, grandmother's house, and see what answers we get there. And the quicker we get there, the better.
So how are you getting a car?
Yes, would the pack have lent us a car at all?
Do you ask that?
Sure, yes, I will. I would have. Yeah, I'll ask.
Because the den father is still kind of standing off to the side. And so you want us to give you a car for your test? No. So you guys came here so that you could get survival training.
It was merely a question. I meant no disrespect.
No, not at all. I understand. You're young. Young people ask less than smart questions sometimes.
Yeah, so Linda will kind of like stretch a little bit. Like, okay. Are we ready to go then?
Yeah.
Oh wait, what car are we going in that you're saying?
We are not going in a car.
Sage has a messenger bag that they carry around,
Have a what?
and
You
a
kind of
messenger bag.
Oh, okay.
Because like they do survival trips all the time with like human kids. You know, to basically teach human kids, how to do the same thing. And they open their bag and they have just a lot of like really basic essentials that you would need for that kind of thing, like matches, just a tarp, to make a quick shelter, all kinds of just rope, things like that. And all the kids would bring the same exact thing. It's like, oh, these are what you're going to use for like the next 3 days. Congratulations. And I got some stuff. We'll be fine. All right. And Sage starts walking in the direction.
So you're in Hamid form,
Yes.
walking out into the woods.
I mean, like, they do this all the time.
This would go faster if you were a wolf like me.
Yeah, Linda would start taking off her clothes, not caring at all who was watching. She would just take off her clothes, fold them nicely on top of the truck that we were using as a makeshift table. Fold them nicely, like crease them where they need to.
Your clothes, like I said, everybody has the clothes that you're wearing.
Oh, those clothes don't go away.
They have been bonded to you so that you can change shape without losing them.
Never mind.
You don't have to run around naked if you don't want, but if you want to. So then, are you gonna
free as free can be? I guess.
I think that Breaker would agree with you.
Right, so everyone's just changing into Lupus.
I've been in Lupus the entire time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, when Sage sees that Linda is changing into Lupus, so will they.
Okay. So you do not have Magpie's swag.
No.
Which means that Yep. So that means that when Sage changes, that messenger bag falls off.
And it's like, fuck.
If this happened before Linda changes, Linda will walk over and put the bag inside her bag.
Just like dump it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just put the whole thing in there. Excellent.
All right. So you guys all shift into Lupus and lope off through the woods, making much, much faster time, because when you are in Lupus form, your eyesight comes in. You lose a lot of your depth perception. You lose a lot of your color definition. But when it's dark out, that stuff doesn't really do you any good anyway. But what you find is that your hearing becomes amazing. Like as you're loping away, you can hear the conversations that they're having back at the fire. And even beyond that, or even more impressive than that, is the smell. Everything just explodes into your nose. You can smell the leaves that fell last fall, that spent the whole winter underneath of the snow and the ice, and how they've started to decompose. You can smell the bugs that are moving through that and breaking it down, and you can smell the fire behind you. You can smell the animals that are sleeping in the trees. For Breaker, this is all he's ever really known. But for you, Hamids, this is something that, you know, even though you've been practicing this, even though this has been something that you have been working on, it's still like mind-blowing just how sharp your senses become when you switch into this form. How much the perspective of 5.5 feet off the ground, how your view, when you shift down and you drop down and your eyes are suddenly only 1 or 2 feet off the ground, how the perspective changes. And then when that eyesight comes in, you really do begin to lean into your other senses, and you dart off at a speed that you wouldn't ever believe it was possible to move through a forest, especially in the dark, dodging trees, leaping up over small brooks, crawling underneath of bramble bushes as you make your way northeast, southeast. Which way are you guys going?
I would say Sage would first of all would waited just a second when they went into lupus form, like when they were hearing the conversations, to see if maybe they picked up on something,
Oh, to kind of see if they're saying anything back there?
Yeah, see if they pick up anything beyond what the help they were given, just to see if anything not long, but just a
sure. I'm not even gonna make you roll because you're in lupus form. You can pick up voices really easily, and it's clear that they've moved on and they're talking about something else.
Right.
So what's the kind of closest land or city that was on the map towards where this Caribou Island is?
It depends if you're going to go north or south. If you go north and east, Thunder Bay is not too far away. Otherwise, if you want to go around the south, you'll have to kind of backtrack a little bit to the west, and that's where Duluth is.
If we go exactly east to Grand Portage.
If you go directly east to Grand Portage, or you could go straight east to Grand Portage if you wanted.
Would that put us in reasonable distance?
What is your intention when you get to Grand Portage?
My intention is to get us to the city on the map that I could see that would appear to be closest to Caribou Island. So
Thunder Bay is the largest city on that northern shore. Otherwise, probably this closest settlement, city, town, whatever, would be if you kind of circled around to the north and went to Wawa. Would be the closest to the island. But with the biggest city where there's a population center would definitely be Thunder Bay. kind of depends on what you are wanting to do when you get there. Would be probably where you'd be able to make the best decision as to which one to head towards. If you're looking for a boat,
as a
probably
lupus,
Duluth or Thunder Bay.
As a lupus, I'm
As a
looking
lupus.
for the spot where they're on the map.
Yep.
That is the least amount of blue.
Least amount of blue,
between
Wawa.
Wawa.
Which is kind of the northeast corner of the lake. So if you kind of run your finger and you go, okay, it's here. Well, the closest town looks like it's Wawa or Munising in Michigan, but that's a little bit further away.
So it's like on the complete other side of Lake Superior from us then.
Yes. Yeah, you guys
okay. All
are. So
right.
you guys are on the here. Let me do this.
Because I mean, my plan was just to go there and then get in the water. So just swim across.
Here, let me do this. Let me clip this and. Oh, I know you live there. Why do you think I set this there? So the big circle is Eli. The small circle is Caribou Island.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
It is a trek. So you can go, like I said, Duluth is almost straight south. So you could cut around the south side of the island, or you can go up and around the north side, or not the island, the lake.
How big is Lake Superior?
Big.
It's an inland ocean, essentially. It is huge.
It has a tide.
Yeah.
I see.
Lake Superior is the size of, is bigger than many small states.
Okay. Yeah, because what Sage would say is like go to our immediate border and then like get our butts a boat off through the blue. Go just cut straight to the blue.
Where do we get a boat?
Boat.
A rowboat?
If we have to.
So I figure I would go to Grand Portage.
At least see what's there. If
And
there
see
are,
what's there, because that's like the direct line, and he's
Mhm.
looking at this as a direct, or that's the closest to being a
Good.
direct line.
Okay. All right. So you guys head off towards the east then.
Yep. Let's make a beeline east.
Okay. So you guys travel for a few hours. If I remember correctly, you can travel for 1 hour per point of stamina you have at a pretty good clip before you really start getting tired. So who has the lowest stamina when they are in lupus form?
I have 4 dots.
In lupus form, remember.
Yes, I have 4 dots.
How about Sage?
Where would I look at the difference?
So if you scroll down on your
Yeah.
sheet, it is down on the second page. Actually, sorry. On yours, it's in the lower right-hand corner of the first page. It's got a little cheat sheet for the forms. Lupus adds 2 to your stamina. So if you have 2 stamina in your Hamid form, you would have 4 in Lupus, which is what it looks like you have.
Yes.
And then our Lupus has, what, 6?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to wait up for us.
So, when I see them start getting tired, I'll shift up into Hispo and be like, "You can go longer this way."
Oh yeah, we do have more stamina that way, don't we? Can we transform that easily?
As long as you're not like mid combat, I'm not going to make you roll, because it's really just a matter of you taking a couple seconds to do it. The only time I'm going to make you roll is if you're trying to change like now.
Right.
As long as you're not really trying to push it, you just change. It just takes you, a few seconds instead of being like really quick.
How long
I've
will
had 9 nights to do it.
it's gonna be trying a couple hours. It's about 10.
Yeah, so you guys are, just because this is Minnesota, and it is the land of 10 bazillion lakes, it's not easy to travel in a straight line. So
Then I gotta dart around north and south and
yeah, there are a ton of lakes all in that area. So it's going to take you probably the full, what that can push you guys out to like 5-6 hours, give you another hour or 2.
yeah, Hispo would put me at 5 stamina.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually changed back into Lupus because I can still have the perception.
Okay.
Because I think I'm better at this than them. So.
Just got to prove it, right?
Well, they were getting tired. I wasn't.
I'm not.
So therefore,
we get it, Breaker. You're a wolf. We're only starting out here.
This way, someone can still have the perception bonus of traveling.
Yes.
And they can just follow as I go.
So around the time that they begin to start flagging again, you start to pick up the sounds and the smells of civilization. And this is putting you guys at, it's probably getting, you've been running for a solid 4 or 5 hours. So it is the middle of the damn night. It is like 4 o'clock in the morning. So if you went to push on, I will ask that everybody make a stamina check. So roll your stamina for me. If you want to push on at this speed, you can. But you are now pushing your bodies to the limits of even your ridiculous endurance as a Hispo.
I figure we're out in the middle of
Breaker.
nowhere. So this would be a safe place to set up camp.
Yep. Yes, Sage is like unbeat.
I could stop for the night.
I'll find
morning.
If we Sage will turn back into Hamid form.
Okay.
And
Breaker just kind of tilts his head as
And-
Sage changes.
And if they're able, we'll get their bag out of Linda's bag. And we'll grab some stuff to like just make us like it's not to make us like a quick shelter.
Okay. Linda, are you going to shift out of Hispo so that she can access the bag? You would need to be in Hamid in order to access the bag.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
So the way they describe it is it almost becomes like when you shift forms, it melds with your body,
Okay.
and you get like a brown stripe of fur that kind of loops around your body when you're in any form other than Hamid. Or I think it's in Glabro and you can access it too, but
Yeah, and they'll just pull out the tarp, the ropes, and
you start kind of building like a makeshift, like a little lean-to type thing.
yeah, just like something like mostly protects us from elements.
Okay. So here's what I will say is that as you are working on that, you start to really feel the cold set in. You've been running for hours. And so when you switch back into Hamid form, that heat that was in your body, you are covered in sweat. And that sweat is now through you had a winter coat on, but not like a parka. So you can see your breath. It is very chilly here, very cold at 4 o'clock in the morning. It is just barely above freezing. And you can feel that the cold is starting to really dig into you. And that's not something that you felt when you were in Hispo.
Meanwhile, I'm over here digging out a hole in the snow.
And like when Sage is done making that like semi-habitable, we'll like crawl in and turn back into Lupus.
Okay. Yeah, so almost immediately upon switching and shifting back into Lupus, you can feel your starting to warm up a little bit. Is anybody else going to join Sage in the shelter or join
or Breaker in the snow hole?
Or Breaker in the snow hole. Yeah, I was just going to say that.
We'll be warmer together.
I'm actually fairly warm. I have fur.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But while you were building shelter, I made a nice bedding. Comfy.
Yeah, Linda would definitely look conflicted here, looking over Sage, looking over to Breaker, and seeing that that Sage has done a little shelter and Breaker has done his hide-a-hole. She notices no one has made a fire.
Oh yeah. Duh. Oh, thank you. Sage would have built a fire because Ray didn't think of that, but Sage would because Sage has common sense.
Wait. He's gonna just like, wait. What do you stop? You're making a fire in the woods where no one's around, right?
Right.
So what happens if someone sees a fire where no one's supposed to be? What happens when the smoke gets up? And somebody sees it.
Firefighters.
I don't know. I'm not from around here, and I don't spend many days out in the woods.
Well, wolves don't need fire or wolves. We can. It's not necessary.
So, Sage's common sense would say that in one of the wolf forms with the fur, and probably cuddled up with in a, I believe the word for it is a cuddle puddle, you guys would probably be fine as long as you're sharing warmth together.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, if we huddle up, in lupus form, we'll be fine.
Well, okay. Well,
That's why I cleared this snow from this spot.
I don't know these things. You have to tell me. I
usually do this kind of thing in this form anyway. In Hamid form.
I mean, whether I have fur on my back, my toe beans are still cold.
What's a toe bean?
It's those little things on your...
The
It's
pads in
like
your
a
feet.
high five. High five in lupus form. It's one of those.
See?
What?
It's a Hamid thing. Don't...
Less talking, more cuddling and sleeping. That is.
I've got my little cleared out area where there's no snow on the ground, and I'm gonna curl up there.
I'm gonna come over and, being in lupus form, I'll come over and like nudge, but not nudge to get out of the way, but like nudge to find the floof that's most floofiest.
Fluffiest.
Yeah.
Nuzzle in there.
Yeah. I scratch at it for a second and then move on in.
So the three of you all cuddle up together, and the heat of each other's bodies allows you to sleep, if not super comfortably, at least safely for a few hours. And it is only a few hours later where the sounds and the smells of the forest awaken you.
I'm gonna do a big stretch, and then I'm gonna look around, and after shaking off any, if it snowed or anything, anything to eat? Can I find it? I'm gonna hunt.
Make a perception and alertness, and because you are in lupus form, it would be, give you a -2, I believe. So 4 would be the difficulty on that.
Okay. And then
And this is what you are built for when you're in this form.
okay. And then you said it was perception and alertness, and then
Yep.
So does heightened senses help with the perception part of that?
Heightened senses would give you that -2 perception difficulty when you're not in lupus form, is what it does. You already get it when you're in lupus form. Basically, heightened senses allows you to heighten your senses to the level they are when you're in your lupus form, when you're not in your lupus form. See what I'm saying?
I.e., your senses are always in lupus form.
Yes. As long as you have that active, you can smell and hear just like you would when you are in your wolf form.
I thought it affected wolf form as well.
No, it doesn't make any difference in wolf form because you already have that level.
Difficulty 4?
Yep.
I got it. So that's going to be 5 successes.
Successes. So there is.
I mean, I had one dice that wasn't a.
It wasn't one dice that wasn't a forest.
Yeah.
It was, sorry. So there's a rabbit warren there. There's a rabbit warren there. There's a rabbit warren over there. There's a couple of squirrels up there, and about a half mile that way is a deer.
Is it on our way?
It is kind of on the way, a little bit out of the way. It's kind of northeast, and you guys need to go pretty much straight east. But it's only about a half mile, so it would take you like 3 minutes to get there in wolf form. I mean, it's half mile in wolf form is nothing. You can cross that in no time at all.
Okay. I mean, unless there's something really close by in the way, I'm going after that.
There are a couple of rabbit warrens you think that are closer, but you'd have to pop probably 3 of those, one for each of you, or you take down a deer and you're good to go.
Okay, I will take down the deer then.
Okay. Are you going to ask your
Oh, you don't need to ask. I'm starving.
allies to join you?
Would I need to go into the Umbra again if I helped?
After the kill.
After the kill.
Yeah, you do that after the kill to thank the
Yes.
spirit for. Well, basically, when you enact that rite,
Yeah.
that is you basically thanking that animal's spirit for giving its life to sustain you. So after the hunt and after you eat, you would do that.
Yes. Sage will go and assist.
All right. Breaker is taking the lead on this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what he does.
Okay.
Show us your ways.
So how do you want to take it down? You have options. You can try to sneak up on it and take it out in one quick move. You can try to use your strength in numbers and use pack tactics to harry it and eventually kind of wear it down to the point where you can take it to the ground. You can shift into Hamid and try and take it out with a weapon. You've got all kinds of options.
I'm gonna turn back to whoever's closest behind me and say that I'm gonna go cut it off. You come up behind it and chase it that way.
Got it.
And so that I'll be hiding when it comes through and I'll pounce on it.
Yeah, and Sage will do exactly what Breaker said.
Okay. Then, Breaker, roll me dexterity plus athletics, please.
Plus athletics. Do we have a difficulty difference or 5?
5.
Okay. And it's really too bad that I decided not to put the 5-point freebie points into dexterity as well. So that is going to be 5 successes.
5 successes. Okay.
If you had 6,
So now,
if you had said 6, it would have been 4 because I got a 1 in there. And then
Ooh.
2 tens, a 6, a 7, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 2 tens.
what did you use? What did you take as your specialty for Dex?
I don't. I instead of putting Dex to 4, I put the 5 points into Perception instead. So
Oh, I thought your sheet
don't
had
know.
4 in Stamina and 4 in Dex.
It did, but I changed my mind.
Oh, you changed it. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so now I will roll the same thing for the deer.
Good luck, dear. You need it.
And I got 2 successes. So you beat me by 3. And just for anybody who is playing along at home or following along at home, even though they only have 3 members of the group, I am using the harrying pack tactics. It says 4 in the book, but we're going to fudge it a little bit. All right, so you scored more successes, chasing the prey towards another pack mate, handing them off for another round of harrying. So, Ray, roll me.
So the idea was that they would chase them to me, so I shouldn't have rolled them. That should be somebody else's roll to chase them.
Oh, I thought you were chasing them towards.
No,
Yeah.
they're going to chase them towards me.
No,
so that I can
I
pounce
was
on them.
chasing him.
Okay, you
the
will.
deer.
Then we'll have you keep your 5, and I will keep my 2. And Sage will roll Dex plus Athletics with a difficulty of 5.
X plus athletics.
Dex plus Athletics difficulty 5.
This is not where I'm wasting my spirit talk.
Now you are in Lupus or Hispo, depending on which one you wanted to be in. So you do use the higher Dex score that gives you.
All right. And that would give me 4
Plus-
decks then?
Yep, 4 Dex.
Yeah.
Plus whatever you have in Athletics.
4 dice.
Do you have any points in Athletics?
No.
Okay, so then your difficulty will actually be 6. Because if you don't have any dots in a talent or a skill, it increases the difficulty by 1.
Yeah, no, yeah, I only got 2 successes.
Okay, so we each got 2 successes, so we pushed. But you did not fail. It did not beat you. So I'm going to give you the advantage and say that you drive it towards Breaker, who then takes over. And I will roll against Breaker at a difficulty of 6.
Are we rolling this time?
I'm going to give you your 5 successes that you already rolled.
Okay.
Okay, so I got 3 successes. So you now drive it either back towards Sage or towards Linda.
So no, the idea was they were chasing it to me, and then I pounce on it.
Yep.
So
So that's
I'm not chasing it away. I'm going for the kill. I'm not trying to chase it.
Oh, that would have been Dex Brawl then.
Okay. I'll be shifting into Hispo to do this.
Okay. Roll Stamina and Primal Urge for me, please. And you're going from Lupus to Hispo, so the difficulty will be 6.
Isn't it 7 to Hispo?
You use the form that you're in difficulty.
Oh, okay. Yes, then.
You need 1 success because it's only 1 step. If you're
Yeah.
trying to go multiples, you need 1.
I've got enough.
No, this
I
is
got
more
5.
for this is more for everybody else.
All right.
I know you
Well,
know.
I got 5.
Okay, so for everybody else, you need one success for form that you are passing through on your way to your target form. So if you are in Lupus and you're trying to switch or shift to Hamid, you would roll your stamina plus your primal urge at a difficulty of 6 because you're in Lupus, and you need to get one success to get to Hispo, one to get to Krinos, one to get to Glabro, and then a final 4th success to get to Hamid.
Okay.
If you do not get the number of successes that you need in one roll, you shift the number of forms that you succeeded at and then roll again the next turn.
Okay.
So Hispo form, roll me that attack. Bite is dexterity plus. I'm on the wrong path.
Also, I didn't mention this. Brawl specialty is Lupus Hispo a reasonable specialty? 4-legged fighting?
Bite is the primary for those, so maybe bite. Or you want, or you're just like basically, it's only going to be effective.
Yeah, so
when
I don't get.
those two
So I
forms?
don't get it. So the idea is that I don't get it in Krynos. I get it when I'm on 4 legs.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
That's what you're most comfortable with. That's what you've spent the most time with. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Difficulty on that?
The difficulty for bite is. I was looking at that and then I got distracted. So sorry about that. Difficulty
5.
is 5 for a bite.
All right. And one subtract, right?
1 subtract successes, yes.
Does it subtract from the 10 or from the
if you got a
10?
If you got a 10, you get 2 successes.
Okay. But if the 1 subtracts from the 10, I don't get the 2 successes. That's why I'm asking for the clarification on it. Does
no,
1 take away the 5 or the 10?
It takes away 1 of your successes.
Okay,
So you
I get
got
to pick?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
So
will
if
select the 5 then. Which
so
means I have 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, so you bite it. So you do strength plus 1. I believe bite does plus 1.
Correct,
And
yeah.
well, plus overages.
Yeah, plus overages.
Okay. So if I got 6,
so
7,
I'm
8, 9,
gonna
10,
how would you like to kill this deer?
I'm just gonna bite it right in the neck and just
Give a nice
bite it in the
rip
neck
out?
and just give it a quick neck snap so that it just flings back and forth and snaps its neck.
Just snap that neck. Okay.
Yep.
So you guys head out, and Breaker kind of takes off out and circles around to try and stay downwind of it. Sage comes in at the side, snarling and biting. It bolts away from her and runs straight into Breaker's open jaw. And he grabs it and just one quick snap of the neck and drops the body. And you guys feast.
And then afterwards, would I have to be in Hamid form to go in the Embra?
No.
Okay.
No. So you can easily find a like I said, it's melt is starting. There's lakes and streams everywhere here. So it doesn't take you much time at all to find a pool of water where you can see a reflection and you can gaze into that, and you would roll your Gnosis rating
Right.
to cross over into the Umbra. And the difficulty, because we are in pretty much unspoiled wilderness. If you look on that little cheat sheet that I shared, if I can find it in the million tabs that I have open here.
Welcome to running a game.
Right?
There's tabs everywhere. All right, so you are in deep wilderness. So that is a difficulty 5.
It's just my 3 giant. How's it pronounced? Thanos?
What?
I don't know how to say the word you said. I got a 9, an 8, and a 10.
Okay, so you got 3 successes.
Yes.
And if I
On my 3 dice.
so 3 plus successes means that you shift instantly.
Okay.
So you are standing in front of your 2 pack mates 1 second and gone the next. Do either of you 2 follow? Because you both obviously recognize someone sidestepping.
What the?
Because she didn't say, or they didn't say what they were doing.
It just disappeared.
Yeah.
But you guys obviously recognize what happened.
Y'all know what I did. You should know I was going to do it.
I mean, I've never done this. I've never done it myself before. I could give it a try.
I want to fucking eat this damn deer.
So do I. I'm hungry.
You guys ate. This
Oh,
is after. Yeah, this was after you ate.
This is disappearing into the Umbra and taking away from our mission.
So then we should go get them.
I mean, they went in there intentionally. Like, I mean, can you accidentally go in there?
I don't know.
Can you, Jason?
Not that you guys would know of.
Okay.
Or maybe you've heard rumors of people that accidentally, but no.
Okay.
You pretty much have to
decide to.
Yeah, because you have to look at that. You have to kind of concentrate on it. It's almost like you enter a meditative trance, and then it's not something that you can generally do like mid combat or anything like that. It takes a concentrated force of will and concentration.
Would they know I'm a thurge? Is that something we discussed?
I'm sure that we would probably know. We would probably know that.
Yeah, you would know that they are almost as comfortable in the Umbra as they are in the normal physical realm. So you very well may go, Thurge doing Thurge shit.
Like, yeah, I don't have.
First time seeing this Thurge do Thurge shit.
It is entirely valid for you guys to just kind of go, all right, and sit down and wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would wait. I have no reason to go personally.
Okay, so we'll switch to Sage. So Sage, you've done this many times before. You started doing this probably earlier than a lot of other guard that you know of. This has been something that you were almost immediately started to be trained on because your adoptive father, I believe it was, wasn't it? Who had taken you in? He was a theurge as well. So he saw the potential in you. He saw that you had kind of heard your tales of you talking about having your invisible friend that you spoke to. And being a theurge, he recognized that that was a spirit and knew that you were gifted from a young age and had brought you in here. And he told you the stories even before you did it about how as a Garu, your real first breath, you don't actually take that until you are in the Umbra and you breathe in the first breath of umbral air. That's when a Garu truly breathes their first breath. You can breathe your entire life in the mortal realm, but it's not your first breath until you are in the Umbra, until you are in the spirit where you are connecting with that other half of your form, because you are half physical and half spiritual. You are the only thing that can do this. You are gifted by Gaia with the ability to live in both worlds. So for you, you slip sideways and you feel your physical form melt away, and you are standing in this beautiful, bright, green, sunlit glade in the deep forest. Trees going up as far as the eye can see. Trunks so big that you'd be hard-pressed to put your arms around them in your Krenos form. And there before you is the spirit of the deer that Breaker took down. So you drop to your knees and you say your prayer to it.
I really, with all sincerity, just like I thank it for what it did for us, and I tell it, I thank you for the strength that it gave us, and that we will not put that to waste.
And as you finish, the spirit dissipates into the stuff of the Umbra. Just kind of spiritual energy just disappears. And that is we're going to call it a night. Well, Cubs, I think that's probably enough for now. So we're going to call it a night. We thank you for daring to follow us into the wilds as we strove to delay the apocalypse, and hope you will join us again next time. If you'd be so kind as to click follow here on Twitch, as well as subscribing on YouTube, we would greatly appreciate it. Special thanks tonight to our patrons and Twitch subscribers. Without your support, the battle to save Gaia would already be lost. If you would like to join this illustrious group, you can find the links on our website or contribute to the cause by purchasing some brand new items in our merch shop. In addition, we once again wish to extend our thanks to Onyx Path Publishing, Astral Tabletop, Nate Mid for our custom Astral Tabletop character sheets, and for the wonderful music that we've used during our adventure. Finally, I wish to thank my wonderful players. Please tell the viewers who you are and where they can see you again before next week.
As always, I am Dwayne at Made of Kimchi all over the interwebs, playing Linda Davis, the Philodox Children of Gaia. Next time you guys can see me will be quite a while. So strange. Next time you guys will see me will be next Thursday for Contagion Chronicle. No, for Alien, because I'm dumb.
Hello, I am Zachary Naldra, he, him. I have been playing Breaker of Chains, also he, him. I can be found on the interwebs at Zach Rules. It's about here-ish, spelled like that. Just find me on Twitter. I write community content, and I've got a pinned post with links to like everything that I have available, including the stuff that I have written with Vorpal Tales and others. Next time you can see me is Tuesday, possibly for the last time on Vancouver by Night with their D&D campaign.
Hi, I'm Ray Alexa. You can find my Twitter right here at the bottom. I use they, them pronouns, and so does Sage. You can find me on Thursday over at Carrion Comfort Studios playing another werewolf for Monster Hearts, where I play Kennedy Brennan, who is the alpha of all alphas, who shall unite all the werewolves under my banner. And so you can have every Thursday at 8 p.m. on Carrion Comfort Studios. I'm wearing one of their shirts right now, the Comfort Club.
Oh, nice. All right, and now we will kick it back to you, fair viewers. It is your time to vote for a player that you think stood out. You can do this once per session, and I haven't revealed this to the players yet, so this is the first time they're hearing this. They can use those votes for rage, gnosis, or willpower. So you can use those votes as if they were any one of those three in a future session.
Oh, okay.
Because I did not give you a totem, because the viewers are your totem. So the viewers, you are the totem for this pack. You choose to give them rage, gnosis, or willpower. Well, actually, you just choose to give them a vote, and then they get to use it as one of those resources. Now, while you guys can do that in chat, this is my first time doing this whole behind the screen thing, so I'm a little rusty on it. But I believe is there a command for that, Dwayne?
No, just type it in the chat.
I vote for this person.
Yeah.
Okay, and then if you throw in there why, that would be great. And
do you want players to vote as well?
I'm just getting to that.
Apologies.
even though it is coming from the Weaver, thank you, Spank My Betty.
Right, while they're doing that, I'm going to have the players do the same thing, but your votes give 1 point of extra experience. Who do you think stood out tonight and why? Starting with Dwayne.
Well, I definitely have to jump on probably the chat bandwagon as well, because Breaker was what Breaker is and will always be. He pretty much pushed the storyline forward because we probably would have been out in the woods with no shoes.
I'm gonna Sage is getting the vote from me this evening, as a kind of a good kind of foil from the lupus to Hamid, as also the I'm sure there's opportunities that Breaker is going to learn from them when we have to deal with people. But that's not tonight, so I'm good.
It's not tonight. There's other people here with us. I'm with Dwayne on this one. Breaker gets my vote. I really liked how he really took charge of the situation, and I like their dynamic, and I would really like to see how that changes over the game.
All right, wonderful. So Zach, write down 4 XP. Ray, write down 3 XP. And Dwayne, write down 2 XP. Because you guys got 2 XP as a group. And those cast votes gave you some extra. And then looks like we had a vote for Breaker and a vote for everybody. All right. I'll from chat. So it's the first session. We'll say yes. You guys each get a vote. So you guys each have a free point of either rage, gnosis, or willpower that you can spend in a future episode.
Since I was supposed to spend Gnosis for the heightened senses, I'm just going to go ahead and wipe the slate clean on that one.
Okay. And I appreciate you clarifying that for me. I forgot about that second piece of that.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay, so fire is burning really low though. So we'll meet you back here next Saturday at 8 Eastern. Until then, tuck in and don't let the worm bite.